Hey there YouTube, it's Math Bowler. Welcome to my first of two videos for my trip to the Westmoreland Card Show on Saturday, October 26th, 2024. Joe's Sports Cards, if you're in the Western PA or Eastern Ohio and want to get on his email chain to be reminded of all the card shows that he does. The Westmoreland Mall has the most tables. I think it's somewhere into the 80 table range, but it's nice to have these small mall card shows. It really is. And I purchased from 4 different sellers. So the first 2 sellers will be this video. And then my next video will be the other 2 sellers here. Lots of TTM fuel. If you're a TTMer, I'm sure you'll like the fact that you're getting maybe some names you didn't know about. So we'll start with the first transaction, which was the biggie. I've been wanting to get the 1962 Post serial card, Bob Lilly. His rookie card's considered the 1963 Topps. This is a 62 Post serial, so I'd say that's a rookie. Maybe some people call it a pre-rookie, but $40. There was a seller at the National who had a real nice one for $100. It would not budge, and it's like, dude, you're charging twice as much. And then I finally found this one, which is cut really nicely for $40. Plus, from this seller, I bought 64 cards that are 60s and 70s baseball TTM fuel. So I believe this is in order. So we got some 61 here, and you can see the names. So it's good to get that. So we got some 61s. We got some 62s. These are players that most players I have not sent to in the past. So I didn't get a whole lot of 63, as you can tell. We got 64. Now 65. Ken Berry's the one who signs out of them. Jim French signs. Joe Coleman was ghost signed in the past, so 66. No gigantic cards at the moment. There aren't many to. I mean, that was a high number, 559, but yes, 660. So 1967s. On here, it's Rich Reese who signs. Did very well on my 68s. I think in the 69 sets I did very well on them as also. Jim Weaver is the one who signs. There's the 69s. Jim Warden. Floyd Wicker signs. He had signed in the past with a donation, but I sent him once, never got back, so that's a bummer. George Keeney signs. Oh, they both sign. They both sign. Yep. All right, we got some 1970s. I think I did pretty well in this 70s set of cards I needed. So like I say, you can check out these names. Maybe there's some players there you'd like to get some send out to that you didn't know about. And this seller gave me a little bit of a deal, and that's Billy Grabarkowitz. Puts them all in top loaders, which is actually really nice. This sticker, the price sticker, is on the soft sleeve. Here's our 71s, which the 71s were in pretty decent condition considering, you know, how the 1971 cards go. But yeah, so I purchased 65 cards from him. 64 baseball TTM cards. Jim Driscoll's one who signs from this. Plus the 62 Post serial Bob Reese. And that was the first card I came across, which was great. Lloyd Allen's the one who signs. When I go to the Westmoreland Card Show, I hit the top level first, and then I go down to the bottom level where some of the sellers that I traditionally buy from are down there. So, because I know I won't be back up to the top level once I go down. So now we're in the 1972s, and I think that's where I stopped, actually. Well, that was a high number. Glad to get it for $5.50. What is that? Card 772, and I only paid $5.50. That's great, and there's my last one. So those 65 cards, well, there was $40 plus $144.50, so that's $184.50. He hit me for $170. I wasn't going to try to bump him down any further. That's about 10%, which is what I hoped for, but that was the biggie right there. So glad to get that. And I'll show you one other purchase I made. This was from Bryce of Stay Classy Sports Cards, who hosts him and Mark put on the big show, the Sports Card Showcase at the Washington Crown Center. I got 10 10-cent cards, which were all Tom Glavine's. He had 22 of these. I thought, let me pull out 10. I don't want to be the guy to buy every single one of them. 10 cents a piece. Yeah, let's do that. Pretty sure those are his rookies. And then a bunch of 50 centers. I think at one point these used to be $1, but you know, once people started buying them, but maybe they never were. 50 centers, I got 38 of them. And a lot of these are rookies. Heck, they might all be rookies. So Otis Anderson, Russ Grimm, Eric Dickerson, Marcus Allen, Ronnie Lott, picked up a couple of those. Kellen Winslow, rookie. Another Kellen Winslow. Hugh Green, who was he a local guy, or he did play at Pitt. I don't think he grew up locally though, but he did play at University of Pitt. Chris Collinsworth, Dwight Clark, Jeff Bostic, Cliff Harris, a couple Elvin Betheas, Steve McMichael, Mark Gastineau, Mark Clayton, USFL card. We got some John Jeffersons, John Capoletti, Jim Youngblood, Jeff Van Note, Otis Sistrunks, Lydell Mitchell, Bob Him, don't want to mess up names, Phil Villapiano, a couple George Coots, Larry Seipel, and Fred Cox, who was a Pittsburgh Pitt player. And then these cards were $1 a piece. This is the 87 Classic, Barry Larkin. There was a time when he signed TTM, even though I do not care for him as a wrestler, but I still can appreciate the fact he does sign for the fans. And Jason Dominguez. So in theory, this would have cost $23. He gave me a little bit of a better deal. I don't really want to get into how much of a deal he gave me, but he gave me a deal. So there's my first of 2 videos recapping my trip to the Westmoreland Mall Card Show on Saturday, October 26th, 2024. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what was your favorite. This was definitely mine. I upload 3 videos a week, a TTM video on Monday, and an autograph and or trading card video such as this on Wednesdays and Saturdays. I really would appreciate it if you would like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Take care, everybody.